Just to update that this video is extracted from the our member audio or member stream, right? Where I do the personalized training. So it may contain some extra talks just for at that time because it is just a cutout from that whole video of 1 hour. Okay. As always, so do consider subscribing to the channel. 92% of people are not subscribing after watching the video. It does help the content creator, right? And if you're coming from Google search and if this video helps you, don't forget to give super thanks and always like and subscribe. Don't forget to ask any question in the comment section. I do reply to all of them. Thank you.
Okay, so API gateway is not related to Amazon Connect. API gate. Okay, so what exactly the API gateway do? Okay, let me open
Mhm.
one. Uh, what is it? MS Paint. Okay, so let's understand. You have a one database system. Okay, so this is your database,
Mhm.
which is within your network, right? Now you want to access this one from a, let's say, your mobile app. Okay, so you have created your own mobile application and you
Mhm.
want to access information like user logged in and password, something like that, which needs to be verified against your database. Just assuming this is a scenario, right? Now for that,
Mhm.
what you will do, you required this system to interact with each other, right?
Mhm.
Now this is in public. Any user can access from anywhere. I can access from India. You can access from US. So we need something which is accessible through the public, right? So this is we are making it public or open internet, right? And
Mhm.
to access it, there are two mechanisms. So we called it API, right? So API is again we have SOAP, which was earlier methodology used to be, and then we have something called REST, right? So SOAP,
Yeah.
there was a client, so we used to have Axis client. It used to generate into output into XML, right? When the JSON REST came, so they use permanently JSON. It can use HTML and XML also, any other format also. But JSON is basically used for REST protocol. Okay. Now to make this thing into your AWS space, right? What we required to access DynamoDB or any database, we required a Lambda, right? So we have a Lambda over here,
Mhm.
which access the DynamoDB like we did yesterday, right? And give the information to you like who is the user ID, what is your name, and all this thing. Now to make it accessible to the external world, right? Like this one, mobile, we have something called API gateway, which works
Mhm.
again on top of Lambda, right? So we have API gateway, which we can enable, okay? And this is I'm talking about only specific to AWS world, okay? So this is
Mhm.
specifically for AWS. For other cloud, it will be different component names, okay?
Mhm.
So this is what we are targeting. So now we will go back to our this thing Lambda, and also we will go back to API gateway.
Sorry, guys, I'm eating. In case you hear such something, I am eating. Please. I'm hungry. I'm starving.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I'm chewing something in case it is
Oh, okay,
annoying.
okay, 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 no worries. Okay, so let's try this one. Send the email, right? Are we capturing any input?
So basically, if they are using an API to trigger a Lambda function to trigger something in a contact flow, what kind of API is that? Is it API gateway or API?
It will be
itself
API. API gateway is just to expose, right?
expose it.
Yeah,
Okay.
expose any of the
And
lambda to the public
the
API
public
gateway. If you want to
the
consume, right?
consume API.
Yeah, so in external world, API gateway is your AWS term. Okay, it is not
Mm-hmm.
a term which is used externally. So if you see API like Amazon Connect, Connect is AWS term for a, and
Mm-hmm.
Lambda is again AWS term. So again API gateway, gateway is
Yeah.
a AWS term, not used by general public outside of AWS world. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we have this function send email. Now we are calling the Lambda from our uh, AWS Connect, and it triggers the email, right? That functionality we already know, right? Now, if I want to
Mm-hmm.
trigger this email through external world, let's say from Postman or through locally from my system, right? What I have to do, I have to create a API for this one. So what I will do is I will go over here, create a API. I will select REST API over here, right? I will click build
Why did you choose REST API?
because we require response in JSON. I discussed
Mm.
right over here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so new API. Okay, so we will call it send email. Okay, something like that. And create API. Okay, so we have created a API. Now what we will do is we will create a method and we can call it. So there are different methods available in the APIs. Get, post. So basically we use these two only, get and post. But there are put, patch, options, head, delete, and any, right? So we will use
Mm-hmm.
get. We will trigger a lambda, okay, and our lambda name will be what is that? Send email, right? So what it will do when we call this API, it will trigger this email, right? And rest of the things we don't require.
Mm-hmm.
And let me open the Postman. Do you know Postman?
Mm-hmm. But I haven't used it.
Okay, so Postman is basically you don't have to write the code. You can test the API directly using the Postman. Uh,
Postman.
it's a basically it has all the interface you required.
Wow.
So coming back to over here. So now if I want to test, right? So what we are doing is we have a get method which send the request. So this is your client. So this will be our Postman which we will be calling, or you can assume it is a mobile device, right? So it will
Mm-hmm.
be calling the get method. Okay, it will go to the lambda, it will trigger the lambda, and lambda will send you the response back. That's it, right? So what we can do is we can just do a test and see if it is working or not, right? And
Yeah.
when we send, it is sending back me the response code. I can go to my Gmail.
So you can use API to call your Lambda in your contact flow.
Yeah, right now still we are within the AWS world, right? Now what I
Mm-hmm.
will do is from the Postman, which is external world, I will test from
Mm-hmm.
there.
Okay.
Uh, sign in. Okay, we don't require this. Which captcha?
Mm,
So you can see the new email got triggered. I'm just checking which Wi-Fi I'm connected. Why is it slow? Okay, just a second. Hello, hello, hello. Are you still in the call?
yeah.
Okay.
Postman.
Which okay, now it's coming. Yeah, when you're eating, go in mute because it get recorded,
Mm.
right? Other people will hear.
Oh, I have not been watching those videos, so maybe I've been sounding weird.
Okay, so coming back, it is signing in now. Where you are API gateway. So we have tested out. Now to make this API gateway available to external world, we have to go to the sorry again back to the resources, and we have to deploy the API. Enable. We will give it a new stage name, something like prod or something like that. Any name you can give. There's no restriction over there. And once you deploy, you will get the URL. So this is the URL you're calling to trigger the API gateway. So coming back to API gateway testing, we have something called Postman, and once it loads my previous details, is it done? Yeah, it's still loading. Okay, so over here, what I will do is I will paste my URL which I have given over there, and since we are not passing any header or a body, I can just directly call this one and let's see if it works or not. So we got 200 response, okay, and we should have the OTP 4586 come to my email ID, right? So I will go to my email, I will see over here, and you can see that new email has come, which has 4586. So this is how we can enable a API gateway for your Lambda. Well, sorry, this one. So this is what we have enabled. So this is what API gateway in short we have.